Hold on. The Big 12 is still suing Texas Tech and Attorney General Ken Paxton. Why? This is the Dose Grande Squad.
You're talking ball with the Big 12 squad. From Oklahoma, you're talking ball with the Big 12 squad. From Oklahoma State to Utah, from Kansas State to BYU, from Houston to Texas Tech, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big 12 weekend. Buckle up, it's the Big 12 squad and we have a seat for you. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up, you're part of the Big 12 squad.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to the Big 12 Squad. Drake Toll with you from Locked On Big 12. Parker Ainsworth, Locked On Cougs, all things Houston. Mountaineer Paul of Locked On West Virginia. Philip Mulford of Locked On Sun Devils, talking Arizona State and all day State. Cody Stovall, Locked On Oklahoma State. Thank you for making our shows your first listen every single day. And if you love our shows, go to LockedOnOklahomaState.supercast.com or LockedOnCougs.supercast.com for everyday Locked On ad free for our everydayer club. If you hit subscribe, we can keep our jobs. We're going to start it with Brendan Sorsby out of the picture. Big 12 still suing Texas Tech and is not, to this point, as of us recording, removed that lawsuit. And the entire, so the backstory before we hop in 30 seconds here is the Big 12, in essence, took legal action against Texas Tech, Ken Paxton, the administration, to find out whether or not they could rule a player ineligible. Hey, we're the league, we're the conference. Federal judge, do we have the power to tell Oklahoma State or Houston, you can't play that player for any given reason? Sorsby got scared when the Big 12 did this and said, okay, fine, I quit. And that's how we got here. I assumed the Big 12 would be like, all right, joke's over, guys. It's cool. We don't have to do this. But no, they haven't pulled the lawsuit yet. Is the Big 12 going a step too far by keeping this on the table?
All right, I got a question for you guys before we get into this. Who is looking like the bigger idiot right now? Ooh. Is it Ken Paxton, who said, we're going to sue the Big 12 if you try to punish everyone, and bringing that to federal court? Or is it Cody Campbell, who said, we have done nothing wrong. We still don't believe that Texas Tech has, or that the Big 12 has any right to punish us, which has left this lawsuit still on the table. Like, which is the bigger idiot right now?
That's kind of a fun question. Is there a punishment still left out there for the way Texas Tech fought for this? I say no, but is there?
I don't know. It's a fun question. As far as the bigger idiot, though, isn't Paxton's suit the one that ultimately opened up the idea of the Big 12 ultimately being able to get involved, right? So I think Paxton kind of wins there. He might have been honestly operating though because Cody Campbell told him to. Cody Campbell gives him a lot of money, and he's in the Senate race, right? I think though. And we can get into what they can or can't do in a moment, and I think there's actually some legitimate questions about what we want them to be able to do. I feel like that the deal they're running with, though, is they want to set a precedent here, right? Like, hey, this isn't the SEC. This injunction thing ain't gonna fly. This is real. Like, we have rules and we follow them, and that's what we're gonna do here. And I kind of think that's why Tech's gonna get sued. This is gonna continue to work its way through. I don't know how much they can really do, and I think that's kind of the more interesting discussion. But I think they're gonna really do it.
And it's kind of important to remember here that this lawsuit is not to punish Texas Tech. It's to have the ability, should Texas Tech or anyone do something wrong, to be able to punish Texas Tech, which is a very different thing. They're not trying to say, we should go and give Texas Tech the death penalty for doing something wrong. It's Texas Tech holds the Big 12 cannot punish them in any way, shape, or form. That is the Cody Campbell official ex officio statement from the chair of the Board of Regents. And the Big 12 is saying, no, you're a member of our conference. You agreed with punishing Baylor a couple of years ago. You are beholden to our rules, and that's what the suit is.
Yeah, I think there's a few things. Obviously, there's still questions about Sorsby's NFL future too. Obviously, some potential fallout from that, if any retribution. Obviously, I think that I've seen something about they want to recover some legal fees and costs that happened with the dispute, and some other things like. You guys had already mentioned the Big 12 kind of wants to hold them accountable. That makes sense, I guess. It set a precedent, but there are a lot of possibilities you can have going forward. I don't know what one would be best, to be honest. I mean, do you want there to be some kind of dismissal from the Big 12? Is that what is happening? Are we heading that direction? Is Cody Campbell too big for the league in some sense. Is like, is Brett Yormark going to go? Is Campbell going to go? Like, that seems like it's coming to a head in some sense. Some people would say, I don't know. I think it's a little bit, it's put us in a bind as a league, right? I think the league is now weaker for all this of happening.
Paul, I think you're hitting the nail on the head here. And the biggest question I would have out of that is the Big 12, if they keep this suit, is it to genuinely control eligibility, or is it to send a harsh statement to Texas Tech that no matter what, we still have power over you? It kind of seems like the latter, just this almost, and I don't say it's a bad power move, but a power move to show Texas Tech, hey, we run this.
Is it just Tech or is it everyone though?
Everyone.
Right? Because
but
no, but I mean, like the message is
sure. Okay, great. Right.
Well, and I think to answer your question, Drake, is the Big 12 taking this a little bit too far? Yeah, probably, but they kind of have to, because as Parker mentioned earlier, the precedence needs to be set. That the Big 12 is basically saying that from here on out, we are going to be in control. So if we have to flex our muscles a little bit and we have to use a Texas Tech as the example, we're going to do that to validate that the Big 12 is the one that runs the show.
So, that way they don't have to go back to court again and say, can we please flex our bylaws? Like,
sure.
That's basically what's happening.
And
next year, Drew Mestamaker, right, does something, or just insert random quarterback, Quanah Wegman, whomever, right? Like, we want that extra year, we want this, we want that. It's like, actually, we've set a precedent. You can't just do that.
Yeah.
And to Cody's point here as well, you talk about like what Cody Campbell has said in that 3-page letter that he put out after they said, we're stopping here, Sorsby's going off to the NFL. That is an existential threat to the Big 12, right? It kind of, we glossed over it in the, look, Texas Tech is backing off, whatever. But Texas Tech, officially, this is not Cody Campbell saying his own thing. This is him saying it as his position as the chair of the Board of Regents, is that the Big 12 has no right to do anything. That is the position going forward. So
I joked about it a week ago, right? Is Texas Tech auditioning to be in the SEC? But there's going to be a contentious relationship moving forward between Cody Campbell, Texas Tech, and the Big 12, no matter how this kind of shakes out, just because the optics have already kind of been put into play. And by comparing Tech to an OU or Texas, no. But it was kind of these kinds of things that they felt like they were above the conference in. I just wonder if this kind of makes Texas Tech feel like they have standing outside this conference all of a sudden.
And from a Texas Tech point of view, like I heard Chris Level argue this on his show the other day, we did what you asked us to do. We took the bull by the horns. We funded this thing, and we became the top brand in the league for now, and now we're being punished for it. I think that's how they feel. I understand why they feel that way. And like I said a few different times, I think Chris is too deep into this. I feel like he's too deep into this with the people he works with. He's a part of that organization. It's really hard to I feel for him. I do.
Chris is, and I also think Chris has done a really good job of like taking morality out of it and saying like, this is football. This doesn't have one. I think he's done a really great job covering it. He and Casey are great. I don't see their point that this is not everyone hating them because they spent a bunch of money and won the conference the first time in 30 years of being in it. This is because they had a player gambling on his team, like, hey, we're going to play him anyway. This is completely separate. They could have been Houston with Kelvin Sampson saying, we're poor. And I don't think if Houston rolled out a basketball player with that, like, man, they can't be doing that. And it wouldn't be because they're spending a bunch of money or anything different. It'd be because they're doing something where I'll say that's a line you can't cross in college sports.
You're not wrong, but to Philip's point, that's just they feel like they're in a corner. They feel like they've been shoved in a corner. It's them against the world. I think Texas Tech fans kind of felt this way before the Brendan Sorsby saga, right? Even if you're looking at softball and things of that nature, I think Texas Tech has felt like, they are the outcast of the conference, and this makes it worse.
What if it isn't the consequences of my own actions?
Right.
Oh,
so
no.
let's go there. I mean, so I think the question would be, we can hit it after the break, is if Texas Tech feels misrepresented or underrepresented by the Big 12, does that mean the other 15 schools feel like they're doing right, the Big 12 is doing right by them, or that there are others who are upset this could be them in the future? This is the Dose Grande Squad. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Odoo. Odoo is the exact spot that you should go when it comes to streamlining a business. It shouldn't feel like a business is, I got an app over here for marketing, got an app over here to, how do I talk to my employee? I've got an app over here to try to inventory. No, Odoo. All-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales and accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place, helping your team move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing the business instead of managing software. The best organizations know that success isn't just about talent. It's about having everyone working toward the same goal, and that's true in sports just like it is business. I mean, look at the whole Dusty May thing. Right? I mean, that's a huge recent move. One thing that stands out is how the Mavs organization took as long as they needed to find the right coach. The day before the draft, they got their guy in Dusty May. It's not just one guy, though. Dusty May didn't make this happen. The entire Mavs organization did it in a coordinated effort. Odoo helps you make coordinated efforts and hire the right guy or keep the right guy or communicate with the right guy or gal. Great organizations win because operations matter. And that's why you should get Odoo. Try for free today at odoo.com/lockedon, odoo.com/lockedon, odoo.com/lockedon with Odoo today. It is the Dos Grande Squad. You can follow all of us ad-free every day if you join the Everydayer Club. It's Locked On Mountaineer, Locked On West Virginia with Mountaineer Paul, lockedonwestvirginia.supercast.com. Ad-free, Locked On Big 12, that Everydayer Club. That same format URL for every one of these shows. Okay, so let's say in a couple of years it's West Virginia fighting for a quarterback or Oklahoma State fighting for a basketball player, and the Big 12 says, nope, we're the Big 12, your guy did wrong. We like it right now. The other 15 fan bases do. Texas Tech doesn't. What if it becomes you in a couple of years?
It's government overreach.
Well, I mean, there has to be a solidarity sign, right? So if it's an Oklahoma State or it's a West Virginia in the future, again, I think this is the Big 12 setting that precedence now that we're going to do everything status quo from here on out. Like everybody's going to have to apply to the same rules. So if you want the team or the conference to be solidified as a whole, to not be concerned about the next round of realignment, whatever's best for everybody has to be what's acceptable, in my personal opinion.
That actually is two questions. I weirdly think that the big piece of this is why he was ruled ineligible.
Yeah.
Right? This is not
yes,
a guy that like spent a bunch of time at junior college or flunked a few classes 3 years ago, or like a lot of this is about why he was ruled ineligible. I think that there's some of that too. I do think though that Paul might have chuckled and joked, but I think he's right that like the fear of this being handed over, like now the conference can just say what they want, and the other 15, like that is potentially opening up a Pandora's box too. I just think that this is the like of the cases to open that box with, it's like this is the one that's like a rule I thought we all agreed upon, and like that's part of it.
You do have to remember as well that something like this is not something that, you know, Brett Yormark or whoever the commissioner is in 10 years is going to go and say unilaterally, this is what we're doing. I mean, very clearly, this lawsuit, these move to punish. I don't know if we punish Texas Tech at the end because Sorsby is not playing, but whatever. All this move is 15 of the 16, to the best of our knowledge, teams in the Big 12 all saying this cannot stand. We don't want this to happen. We're having an emergency meeting. All the ADs are going to come together. We're all saying this is wrong. So yeah, like in the future, if Arizona State has a quarterback that bet on his own team, I would expect the other 15 programs to say, yeah, this guy can't play. It's punishing. But it is something that does require, you know, a majority, if not a super majority, of the other programs in the Big 12 to get on the same table. You know, otherwise, yeah, sure. Like, Texas Tech thinks that Arizona State did something wrong and they get your marks here. Yeah, obviously that's a problem.
Drake's over here taking steps of free pub.
I don't recall Oklahoma State throwing a fit when Arlen Bruce wasn't allowed to play for betting. The same
Iowa State
stuff. Iowa State didn't throw a conniption fit with so this has happened. I think this is just the Big 12 strengthening their argument.
Yeah, and if we're being honest, if this were a third string linebacker, Tech wouldn't be either.
Absolutely.
Right. Like
no way. Zero shot.
I mean, obviously don't double down publicly and then pivot. I think that's kind of a what not to do, right? Looking at this is what do you not do in this scenario? Like you can learn almost at every step of the way as to what they did, right? The legal counter moves, like all these different things that they did as a result of things that were happening to them, obviously were the wrong place to make and only heightened everything to make it the biggest story in sports this year. So there's just no winners coming out of this.
Yep.
So I don't think going forward you just can't.
But I don't. There's no way that Texas Tech would go as far as seeking effectively asylum elsewhere. I heard rogue Twitter Tech fans be like, "We'll go independent." I don't think there's any way that the school would ever do that, and I don't believe the school intends to do that. Though, remember the thing 6 months ago where Cody Campbell was like, "Oh, we can't throw tortillas. I'll show them." And Yormark said Cody Campbell doesn't own this conference. Like Yormark's direct quote was something along the lines of, "Cody Campbell is not the commissioner. I am." I was like, "Oh, whoa, ladies."
He just put it on the table like that. Was
he gave the business.
Drake, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'll wrap it here. The SEC has 15 Texas Techs, 8 Texas Techs from either a money standpoint or I don't want to say prima donna, but Tech here circumvented the other 15. I mean, they circumvented the other 15. That's how a lot of Big 12 fan bases feel. And the SEC has a ton of that. That's what permeates around that conference. That's unique and rare for the Big 12. And I don't know if we know how to handle a school like that right now.
Drake, you were asking earlier if the Big 12 may have went too far. I think basically what we're all getting at is Texas Tech took this thing way too far. Yes, Brett Yormark did ask for somebody to grab the bull by the horns, become the controller of NIL, and lead the Big 12. That did happen. But I think Texas Tech fans kind of embraced it a little bit too much. They embraced being evil a little bit too much, and now it's kind of backed them into a corner. Now they're seeing victimization in areas where it's not even plausible, but it strengthens our argument as
so. I think the pushback would, and I'm opening this up to the gallery. The pushback with Tech fan would be, "What were we supposed to do?" That's what they'd say. Well, okay, fine. Then what were we supposed to do? How do you rebut that? Right? What's your response to that?
Drop Sorsby, let Hammonds play. I mean, it's very simple. You don't let a guy who bets on his own team play. I don't care who it is.
Against his own team, by the way.
Well, even worse, right? But the crazy thing about this, in all the chaos, Texas Tech, amidst all the Sorsby scenario, brought in another 5-star. You can argue that while right now, obviously Texas Tech is 137-1, 138 FBS teams, 137 rooting against Texas Tech. In the medium term, you can make an argument that this is good for Tech. Everyone in America knows who Texas Tech is right now. Every single one of their games is going to be hitting viewership metrics that they have probably never seen before because the hate watchers are showing up in full force.
Yeah.
They're getting 5-star recruits even without this. I think they had another one a couple days ago, or like a high 4-star. Yeah, they don't get their quarterback this year, and this maybe you can make an argument that with how much money they poured into their roster this year, this was their run to go and win the national championship. But like on the 5-year plan, and Texas Tech being too big to fail is like being the biggest prima donna in the Big 12 is good for them.
There have been 3 numbers thrown around with Sorsby a lot. It's like the 9,000 bets, the 40 while he was at Indiana on Indiana, and then $5 million, right? Like the third number being thrown out is like he's getting paid $5 million, right? Yeah. And I think that's good for Tech too. I also think, Sorsby's agent threw them a little bit of a bone on his way out the door by saying, Cincinnati knew a lot more about this than they're letting on, because there'd been at the start of this some report about like he had on the electronic side of things gotten red flagged at Cincinnati, and Cincinnati said, we looked into it and didn't find anything, and the agent's like they knew more about that, which opens up a whole other can of worms. And frankly, it could also be the agent just like subtly like acting like they probably should have. Like again, he's not in the court of law. It's not perjury if he's wrong, but I do think that like the interesting will be to the Tech fans' credit, they're saying we never played him, Cincinnati did, right? And so sure, I think the funny thing is there'd be 14 fan bases saying then get their butt too. Like who cares? That's fine.
Yeah. Why not Indiana brought into that? You know what I mean? It's something like a pretty targeted approach to have. Like you didn't bring up Indiana, just Cincinnati. I mean, you have knowledge of what Cincinnati did, but not Indiana from Brendan Sorsby. Like, come on, man.
The lawyer said that Cincinnati knew. No one's indicated Indiana knew. That doesn't mean they didn't, I guess.
Yeah, right. I just feel like because they left him out on purpose.
Paul's on something. I released a video on Tuesday about Cincinnati because they had been flagged by this like anti-betting site the Big 12 uses that Sorsby was trying to log into Prize Picks. The Big 12, in essence, alerted Cincinnati, hey, you've got a kid trying to log into Prize Picks right now. And Cincinnati sweep under the rug, handle internally, right? That's
always no big deal, right?
Yeah, probably we all use it. and then they let it go by. I think Texas Tech could take, you know what? Texas Tech could take legal action against Cincinnati. It's a Dos Grande squad. So if Texas Tech wanted to take legal action against Cincinnati, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really good Pony by Genuine impression right there. Just sneak it in there.
I'm here for it.
If we investigated this, PI'd this, any of that, and found out, oh, shoot, Cincinnati played him for 2 years, then Texas Tech went through this firestorm of legal fees, $5 million of NIL that's now in limbo. There's a lot of money on the table that Cincinnati, if they hid this from the NCAA or the Big 12 or Texas Tech, then it's on them at that point. Tech could have a serious case.
Fellas, everyone here is connecting the dots, and this is making the most amount of sense right now. This is why the Big 12 is dropping the hammer, because they have been warning the Cincinnati and probably Texas Tech about Sorsby for a year and a half now, and nobody was listening. Nobody was doing anything about it. So now the Big 12 is like, we tried to tell y'all, y'all didn't want to listen, so now everybody's going to pay. That makes it make way more sense.
If Texas Tech is dead set on 15 against 1, this is the route they need to go down. If they want to continue this lone wolf persona that they're doing right now, sue Cincinnati. That's the way. I can't imagine a worse scenario.
They need to sue Cincinnati and change their end zones to DraftKings or FanDuel. Sorry, FanDuel.
Good Lord.
Come on, man. You're gonna get us all a new job. I feel like this is right now what we're looking at. We see Texas, because what's happening here is like at some point someone knew, and Cincinnati probably should have known, right? Or whatever. And as Paul brought up, Indiana probably should have known, because Big 12 is not the only one with this software. At the end of the day, though, I think it's interesting to think that, like, how much did Texas Tech know, or should Texas Tech have known, is probably the better legal question, when they signed him in January, right? Because you are supposed to, like, you sign these kids to your program. Like, these are your recruits. You need to do your due diligence. And bluntly, not just because Phil's here, they were also recruiting Sam Levitt, and there's something to be said about, like, hey, had they gotten Sam Levitt, would they have gotten this kid? If they did, they
better quarterback, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? Did they rush this whole deal because they didn't get Sam Levitt and go, oh crap, we need something?
Oh yeah,
right. Like, Sorsby for some reason was a 5-star best quarterback in the country in the portal, which I thought was,
and Connor Wegman's better. So
crazy.
Connor Wegman's better. Connor Wegman's he's better.
A point here, and it's why I feel for Texas Tech in this. I know it's a crazy thing to say, but if this is a true state, you cannot argue this. If Brendan Sorsby was at LSU right now, he'd play every snap in 2026, guaranteed.
And that was the beginning of the only reason that I was, happy for Texas Tech, is because they were getting that SEC treatment. And I think you're right. If they were in that conference, half of this wouldn't even be a conversation.
Yeah. And Kiffin wanted Sorsby, and the SEC would never have countersued this. In essence, countersued this. He would have just played at LSU next season.
To be fair, would the Louisiana Attorney General have done what Paxton did, though? Because that's
are you kidding me? They would have had their governor involved, dude.
Yeah.
And you know what? Greg Sankey would be like, we're all on the same side. We're all on the same page. Please don't sue me. Please don't sue me. That guy can play ball.
I mean, several people believe that Tech was involved in leaking the contract details around Levitt and or Sorsby and LSU, and maybe that played a part in why he didn't go.
And I agree. He's the better quarterback. And I have asked this question 15 times. Who died and made Brendan Sorsby a Heisman contender? Like, where did this come from?
Indiana must have loved him. Cincinnati clearly loved him. Texas Tech was trying to help him and loved him. He has a way with people.
Yeah,
I get that and I understand their roster is really talented. They're Houston's first Big 12 game, third game of the season. This game's been circled because of this incident for a long time now. Ultimately, he was always going to be the sum of the parts around him. Like, again, he's a starting level power 4 quarterback. This is not a Heisman contender. He's not.
He's guys, he's gonna have like zero pressure on him with that offensive line they got. He's got 3 studs as wide receivers.
Drake,
if someone's not a Heisman contender with the team that's around him.
Yeah. Y'all said who made Brendan Sorsby the end all be all? maybe it was the betting services.
Yeah. I mean, the
Keep
second
going.
he got
More
real, he was back in the
More
Now
NIL.
we're really getting deep.
A $5 million NIL check get put on Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah. Like, why is Sorsby so good? Well, I don't know. The numbers say so.
Polymarket's calling. How do we direct ads to one human being? How can we have one person get
targeting
all of the ads?
Bro, the Brendan Sorsby 30 for 30 is going to be lit.
Oh, yeah. And we didn't, I guess, maybe it wasn't the Big 12, so I didn't focus as much on it. Michigan didn't get ripped like this for Connor Stallions. It felt like most of America liked Connor Stallions. Like, I secretly back on Brandon was like, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. The more that came out of him Venmoing guys being like $200 for front row seats to see Rutgers play La Tech, like, that's kind of dope a little bit.
Yeah.
In fairness, Drake, gambling on your own team has long been so high on the list of cardinal sins. Like, everyone's like, okay, you know what? Look, you're cheating to steal signs. You're a competitor. You took it too far. You know, you went and did whatever. Oh, okay, whatever. Like, again, the betting on your own team is it is such a red line. Yeah, people treated Connor Stallions better because, oh no, you went a little bit too hard to try to.
But what if you're betting on yourself like in a positive way? Like, I'm not betting on myself to lose, betting on myself to win this damn thing.
It messes the entire
it does, but I think it's less bad though. You know what I mean?
Less bad for sure. It's less bad.
It's definitely bad, but I think it's definitely changes. It changes it a little bit. You know,
I played for a coach one time. We talked, and he was mostly talking about like don't stay out too late at night or whatever. But he was saying, there's not actually that big of a gray area on most things. There's black and there's white, and there's like only a little bit of gray. And if you're trying to make it gray, it's probably not the one you want, right? And I think that's what we're trying to do with like what we're doing on this. Connor Stallions, I would point out the Michigan thing because that came up when I was ripping tech in my own show and my comment section a lot. And head coach ran off the NFL, and Stallions is a high school coordinator because he isn't coaching in college anymore, not going to be able to. And they still gave the Sharon Moore a whole suspension, all the kind of stuff. He got punished for his own stuff when he wasn't the head coach or in charge of it all. Like they did get punished. It just it was just funnier. it was just a funnier story.
That's fair.
Yeah. The Mike Boynton news. We'll finish here. Cody, 1 minute. He is the new head coach of the Michigan Wolverines.
You know what? I'll say that he absolutely does deserve another opportunity.
Good guy, nice guy, man. I like
it. Would come this fast. He's a remarkable recruiter, right? He's the epitome of a player's coach. It was just the X's and O's portion of things that was a little bit difficult for him. But Michigan is going to be able to obtain talent if he is the head guy. And you never know. Maybe that's what he needed. He needed a couple more years learning under somebody once again to how to establish some half-court sets in the last 30 seconds of a ball game, because he just didn't quite do that at Oklahoma State. But he's a damn good ball coach. The players absolutely love him. Former players love Mike Boynton. He's always going to be able to bring 5-star talent in repeatedly. And if he's learned a little bit more of the the coaching side of things, I think he does deserve it. Michigan will be good.
Scott Hughes just said the whole team's gone.
Scott Hughes, baby. Scott Hughes, CBB.
Guys, how many roster slots are we sitting on right now? I know ASU's got two. We got two.
Yeah, sick 'em Bears. There is Parker Ainsworth, Locked On Cougs, Mountaineer Paul, Locked On West Virginia, Philip Mulford, Locked On Sun Devils, and Cody Stovall, Locked On Oklahoma State. Thanks, guys, for joining as always. This has been and always will be Locked On. Thank you for making our shows your first listen every single day. It's the Dose Grande Squad.